Hello guys, Lit here. So this is the first of the series for Alch and Go, and I want to test all the Alch and Go strategy first because this is the strategy that are the easiest to replicate. You just need a map, choose them to 20% and Alch to make it rare, and you put it into your map device and just go. So it's very simple. You can just keep doing it over and over, and all the detail of the strategy that I tested will be available on the spreadsheet, which I will link in the descriptions. Although I will appreciate if you guys watch the video because that will help me grow the channels a lot. So the first one will be Blight, and Blight is a mechanic that I do since day one. It's a very good mechanic no matter what you build because you have tower to assist you, and it's a pretty good currency because Blight map is pretty good value early on, and a lot of bubblegum currency also have a decent amount of value early on in the league. And for the Blight itself, the tower that you usually always going to build is the stun tower and the chill tower. And if you have the anointment for the chill tower can freeze. So if you can freeze and stun the enemy, you can just damage them until they die, and that's what makes Blight a lot easier to do compared to other strategy because you have tower to help you out. And because of that, there is two mods on the map that you need to avoid for Blight maps. The first one is monster speed cannot go below base value. That will prevent them from getting freeze, and monster cannot be stunned. That also going to prevent them from being stunned, and that will make the Blight significantly harder. And for the damaging tower, you can do whatever you want. There's a flame tower, meteor tower, there's a lightning one, there's a scout tower, which is like a minion shooting laser. All of them is good. The important setup is just the stun tower and the chilling tower because that is the one that's going to stun and keep the enemy in place. And for this strategy, I decided to run it on Toxic Sewer. The first reason is because for Blight can spawn 1 to 8 lane. I think the maximum is 8. And you guarantee to have one lane that have a Blight chest, and Blight chest can give you oil and also Blight maps, which is two items that we are targeting for this Alch and Go. So if you only have one lane, that lane guaranteed to have Blight chests, and usually if you only have one lane, you're going to have a little bit more chests, around 4 to 5 chests, and that's going to increase your chance to get a good oil and also Blight maps. And another reason for Toxic Sewer, the T17 map that dropped on Toxic Sewer is Ziggurat, and Ziggurat is one of the most expensive T17, so that also helps in terms of currency. So for the Atlas tree, this is the Atlas tree that I'm using. The first one, we take all the maps node. This will help you to sustain your own maps, and the more maps you drop, the more chances you have to get the T17 maps. So this map cluster is really strong, especially early in the league. And the bottom here is the Blight cluster. This node will make your Blight tower become basically a boxes where you can click and you can get loot at the end of the Blight. This is not super crazy or anything like that, but it's still an additional currency, and you have to build tower anyways, so why not take this? And this one will make your Blight monster spawn faster, and this will reduce your map time by quite a lot. And this Blight cluster over here will basically make your chests better. Like this one going to make you have a 10% chance to have additional reward chests, and this is going to give your Blight chest a chance to be openable again, so you can get extra loot from this. And this cluster over here is really good early in the league because it will make the Blight monster take more damage, and this one going to increase your pump durability too. And this is really good node, especially early in the league because we don't have all the items, so the power of the build is not that high yet. And this cluster will give you more chances to get a blighted maps, and blighted maps work quite a lot early in the league because it's a very stable currency, and especially on the league like this where the loot is a little bit dry, usually people go to blight maps because it's a very stable. And this cluster will make one of your line in the blight will spawn the blight bosses. This can be dangerous, but as long as you can freeze and stun the bosses, there's nothing to worry about. You can chip them down gradually. They are pretty tanky, but if they stun and freeze, I mean, what they're gonna do, right? So as long as you can stun and freeze the bosses, there's nothing to worry about on this node. And I'm also taking Red Altars. Red Altar is generally better early in the league because it gives you Chaos Orb, it gives you GCP, Gem Cutter Prisms, it gives you Unmaking. There's a lot of bubblegum currency that coming from Red Altars that are very valuable early in the league. So that's the reason why I'm going for Red Altars. And the rest of the tree is basically just a lot of modifier. For example, like this one increase modifier, and this one increase modifier, and then the entire top hat is also increase explicit modifier. And this explicit modifier will give you basically a better loot, more quantity, more rarity, more pack size. So this stat is just a very good stat if you want to choose your map. And the last one is the quantity wheel in the middle. This one is probably the least mandatory part of the entire strategy. So if you don't have enough points, just don't take this node and you'll be fine. So that's about the passive tree. And the next one, let's see at the result. And this is the result that I get. This is the screenshot for the wealthy Excel. This is to pricing for something like currency, bubblegum currency, scarabs, oil, and all that stuff. And I do take out, for example, like scrap that are 1C and below, because usually that scrap doesn't really sell. So I just decided to take all of them out. And for the currency, I also take out the currency that's not really selling. But for something like chromatic, alterations, fusing, jeweler orbs, this is a currency that you can sell really easily early in the league. So I still including them. It's a pretty stable currency. It's not a very big amount of currency, but it's a very good addition, especially early in the league. And this is all the loot that I get. I think I cut out quite a lot of them because previously my substep is almost full. So that's just something that I like to do on my strategy, so I'm not bloating the number on the profit. And also I got some of the unique. I generally do not like to include unique on my strategy because it's very unreliable. It's very RNG, so I just decided not to include any of them, but I do get some unique. And for the manual pricing, there's a few items that I prefer to manually price them because it's very dependent on what kind of item is that. And sometimes the wealthy Excel does price them a little bit more than they should. So I decided to manually price them so we can get a little bit more accurate. And I do put a date here. This is 3 November. So for the Blight maps, I separate them based on tier. Tier 13 and tier 14 is around 5 to 6 chaos. And tier 15 is around 9 chaos and tier 16 around 15 chaos. And you does get quite a lot of them. It's not that hard to drop and it does sell pretty good. It's not super fast, but eventually it will get sold. And selling the Blight maps is getting a lot easier this league because of the asynchronous trading. Before it's a bit of a hassle because you have to go to like TFT or any groups so you can sell them manually in bulk because sell them one-on-one is a pain. But with asynchronous trading, selling the Blight map right now is very easy. And the T16 maps, I put them at 3C average. I do get a lot of Toxic Sewer because I do put Toxic Sewer on my favorite maps, so I do get a lot of Toxic Sewer. And for T16, you're always able to use Horizon Orbs on them to change them into Beach. Because Beach map is one of the T16 original. And Beach map is a pretty good layout. It has a decent divination card. I think it does drop Fortunates. So if you don't like the layout, you can always Horizon them and change them into Beach map. And the last one is T17. This one is 35C. I think on Wealthy side they price them at 40. I think that's a bit high. You definitely can sell them for 40. I mean, Secret is very popular to 17 maps because it has a best Uber fragments, but I like to price them on the lower end. So I just put 35 chaos here. So that brings us a profit of 35 divine for 50 maps. So I do 50 maps over here. And the average map time here is 4 minutes. I think my average is around 3 minutes something. So you can definitely go faster than 4 minutes. And with the 4 minutes average map time, we are at 10 divine per hour, which is, I think, for Alch and Go strategy is pretty good number. Now I also have the overview tab over here, which I basically plan to try this tree strategy next. I will try to do this as fast as I can. So Harvest, Expedition, and Legion, I think this 3 mechanic is really good for Alch and Go. If you have another mechanic that you want me to test to for the Alch and Go, let me know in the comment. And also if you have any questions about the strategy, just leave it in the comment. I read all my comments. So I think that's all I have for you today. And thank you everyone for watching. I really appreciate it. And I will see you in the next one.